Okay, you finally realize that you need a divorce, but now you want to know what a divorce looks like, how it works, and you have a really basic question like how do you even start, how much money you will need, what will you lose, what do you need to say goodbye to, and how long will it, well, how much time will it pass before you be actually divorced? Will you see the children? Will they allow you to see the children? How the calendar? And most uncertain of all is how much you will pay to your ex in alimony or other kind of stuff that you need to give to her. I mean, this is all a very good question. We try to give an answer to those, and make sure that you listen to the end, because some of these answers may make up your mind completely, one way or the other, and may make the difference between you finding your happiness or regretting it all, because you may overlook something that we will cover here and regret everything. Besides, you may like some of the first 4 or 5 questions, and then the next question, the next answer, you will think, oh, okay, I haven't thought about it. Or you can be convinced, I want to divorce, I know everything, and then you know the answer to the first 4 question, and then I tell you something and you say, okay, is this really worth it? So make sure that you listen to the end, because this is very important. It's not something that you really need to do, and this is information that you don't find in this way very often. And I have obligation now to tell you that this is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, which is good, because it means that I'll give you an overview about divorce experience from a real perspective, real person, my own experience and experience of my clients. I have coaching client, not like a legal clients. And if you have a question how to use this video and the other videos that you find is, go to my website. There is the term of service that you can read how to, the disclaimer about this is not legal advice. But this is very important that I really recommend you to listen. And speaking of lawyers, usually, we said, how do you start? Usually this is the first stop that many people go to when thinking about divorce, because they think, this is the way it works. And okay, many lawyers give you 15-30 minutes free consultation, or a very cheap consultation where you can get the basic information how the process goes. And you may want to talk to more than one lawyer before making any decision, because you also need to understand if you have a good relationship, they don't talk too much, they don't talk too little, they speak your language, they make you understand easily what you need to do. So this is very important. But then if you really like a lawyer, they will ask you, you decide to hire them. We call this retain her, them, him or her or them. And they will ask you for a deposit that they call the retainer, of course, and will start from $3,500, so $3,500 just to keep talking to them, because they know, okay, it will take some time. And if they understand, they realize that your situation is more complicated because you're a business owner, you have the different family structure, a lot of stuff to deal with, they will say, okay, probably you need to give me $5,000 down payment, or $7,000, because we know it's gonna take longer. So, and at this point you may have already changed your mind, because say, okay, $7,000, $3,500, probably I will put up with my wife for more years, because I don't want, who wants to spend some money? And some people instead want to spend some money because their life is better. But you never need to put the decision about the money, because you will lose those money one way or the other if you don't take the right decision at this point. Now, I assume that you are already in the situation that you know that you really need a divorce. Now that you say you want to do later, so you want to prepare yourself, brace yourself. If you are not in this situation, you don't know if you really a divorce is a good solution for you. I'm publishing 2 more videos, one with the reason why you should divorce, and probably I'll put the links up here or down in the description, depends where you are watching this video. And another video about what are the reasons for not divorcing. So make sure you subscribe. You like this video, so you have like bookmarked for yourself, and also, or put in this watch later, like a real bookmark. And also subscribe and click on the bell, because so you will be notified when YouTube will recommend you the video that I just mentioned and other video that are good for you. So do make sure that you do this two things. But once you decide that you're divorcing, actually I said that the one first stop could be a lawyer, but could be because you need to understand that a marriage, I know I'm not talking about marriage, not divorce yet. Marriage is a contract. And for some of us, it's also a vow, it's also a religious promise. So it's a big, commitment that we do. But from the legal point of view, and for the situation that you cannot keep doing this, you are not really out, breach of everything, it's a contract basically. And the divorce is just the declaration that this contract is no longer in place. That's why, you don't go to the DMV to break this contract. You don't go to your cable TV provider. You go to the court. You don't go to the town hall. You go to the court to rescind this contract. And more precisely, in most states, is a superior court, so it's not like the town home court. And you do that. That's because it's a contract. So what you do? This is a contract. Because it's a court, it is a lawsuit basically. It's a litigation. It's we call it the civil action. Okay, this doesn't mean that it's like Law and Order or like Perry Mason or like this kind of shows, drama shows, legal drama shows where you need to prove anything. It's really something that is legally binding, but you don't need to go on trial for that. You don't need witnesses, exhibit evidence. You need some material that you need to declare, but it's all a little bit, we can call it administrative stuff that you need to do. So what are the steps? The first of all, you need to file the papers. Many people say, okay, this is a bad choice of color. Okay, better like this, right? You need to file for the paper for divorce, you see. This is basically an application. It's an application. You have a standard template that you need to fill your name, the dates, and little more information, and then you attach some extra document to it. So it's an application form, basically. Do you need a lawyer for this application form? Many of you say, okay, I don't have the time to fill this stuff. It's something that it is easy to some extent. It requires sometimes you don't have time, you can go to the lawyer. But I want to warn you on something. When you go to the lawyer, the given point, the lawyer say, okay, we need also to fill this. Usually there is a financial statement or a affidavit that you need to declare, where you list all your bank accounts, all your assets, all your stocks, if you have investments, retirement, and also how much you spend on a certain thing, how much you spend on gas, because they want to know your financial situation, because if they need to split between the two spouses, the court, if they chime in, because the court may also not having any say about that, but you need to give this information to them and to the other party, your spouse. So you need to fill all this stuff. When you go to the lawyer, don't think that the lawyer will do all this work. Basically, by the way, the lawyers charge $350, $400 an hour to do this stuff. And you can save something because some of the work is done by the paralegal, so a little bit less, but still, it's money. But at the given point, say, okay, how much you spend for your hairstyle, and you can tell that I spend a lot with that. And something that they don't know, and you cannot even give to your accountant, because the accountant, okay, you want to pay an accountant instead of the lawyer to collect all this information, but some of the information, what are the information, probably you can spend a couple of nights, 3 nights, not big nights, 1 hour or 2 hours a night for a few nights to list this stuff and review it and so on. So this is just an application. So even if you do through the lawyer, it doesn't save you. So this is to tell that you may not need a lawyer again for your divorce, or you may need it. It depends on the situation, and we can discuss about it. So the filing is a very important step, because this create a deadline, a cutoff date for some of the stuff that you want to to decide. For example, if you are putting the money together for a retirement, and you know that the retirement is something that you need to split with your spouse, but split only that called the marital portion, so only from the moment you married to the moment you filed for divorce. That's why you want to file as soon as possible, to avoid that you change the situation and it becomes more complicated. Another reason that it's important to file, because then when it's set the status quo, you cannot change the status quo. Status quo is a leading expression to say the state of affair, the current situation. If you spend this much money every month, then you cannot spend much more than that. Suddenly, I want to buy a Lambo because I'm going to divorce, and then I want to spend it. No, you cannot do crazy stuff. I want to make a trip that I would never make. I never made a trip, and now I want to make a trip after I divorce. Or your wife, you want to spend your money because you want to collect everything that she can before until she can't any longer, and other stuff like that. So you want to keep the status quo. If you're paying the bill, unfortunately you need to keep paying the bill, but if she is helping you, she cannot back up. No, I'm mad at you because you filed for divorce, I don't want to pay the bill. No, you filed for divorce, and then everything should be stay the same until the judge complete. And so this stuff, it's when you file for divorce, you know what's the deal, is that everything needs to be split in a half, basically, of what you have, or in a fair way that is based on what you make during the marriage, not anything that you had before or after filing for divorce. So the first step is filing, prepare this paperwork, which is kind of generic. You don't give much detail except that you give this financial information, your bank account, your financial situation, and what your regular spending so far, and then other stuff will come after. I've done that. You immediately need to also to serve to the service. The service is another word for notification. You need to notify, because you go to the court and you file, and depends on the state. Check if you can mail it, you need to do e-file online, or you can need to go in person to the court and hand over your paperwork. When you do that, you also need, or sometimes before that, because you need to also to clarify. Basically, let's say at the same time, you also need to service the other party. You need to tell, hey, I'm going to, or I just filed the application, we say an application form, but it is a complaint or a petition for divorce. It's the starting, of a civil action, of a lawsuit, basically. I'm suing you for a divorce. Basically, you need to do, there are other standard templates that depends on your state. You send it by mail, or you need to hire a sheriff to do that, or you need to hire a private company. Check your state, what is the situation that you need to do that. You can do it, or your lawyer can do it. If you want to pay $300, which is all the deposit. We'll talk about that about the lawyers. And then they have the chance to respond to the lawsuit, to this divorce. What does it respond? Divorce, now in all states, if you want a divorce, you get one. It could be longer, shorter time, but nobody can stop you from getting a divorce at this point. They can say, no, I want to divorce you. I don't know why they even do. And you can say, they can say, no, okay, this information on this paperwork may be wrong. I want to correct this information. And if you divorce, I want everything, they will respond this way. It doesn't matter, because then you need to prepare an agreement. Because the divorce, we said, it's, the definition. You have a marriage, you have this contract, you want to break this contract, but you need to make an agreement. Okay, what do we agree that we need to split? This agreement says, as I mentioned, that you split in a half. But this will go through some kind of negotiation or litigation or mediation. Why? Because, okay, I know that I need to split. Well, what do we need to talk about? I give you half of the house, half of the money, half of the retirement, half of the, just for this marital period, half of the furniture, half of this, but you cannot just split the house in a half. I take one half a bathroom and you can take the other 1.5 bathroom, and you take two, because you don't do that. Usually what do people do? They sell the house, unfortunately, and you go, because you don't need such a big house anymore, and they sell the house and they split what the proceedings from the house. You cannot split the car. You keep the front seat, I keep the rear seat, or I keep the steering wheel and you keep the passenger side. It's not like that. So you say, okay, I'll keep the car and I'll give you some money in compensation. I'll keep the house and I'll buy you out, or you keep the house or you buy me, or we sell the house, but we cover the, this payment, the monthly payment of some loan that you had, stuff like that. So you need to negotiate a little bit. Now, this is easy. This is easier. People make more complicated than it is, and lawyers make it more complicated than it is, because if you involve lawyers, I really tell him from bottom of my heart, don't involve lawyers at this stage. Now, if you have a complicated situation, business, family dynamics that are very complicated, you have multiple children for the, I don't know, you have immigration, you have a double citizenship, and so you need to, then I understand you may need something that is more just of paperwork, just that the citizen can do themselves, and you need legal advice, because it's, there can be unfold a lot of situation. Could be complicated, could be convoluted. But in general, for this, until this point that you need to litigation, and you just know that you need to split in a half and in a fair and equitable way, it's not that you need to the cent. If you start getting the lawyer, what they do, they try to, and I think this is wrong, because we are decent people, me and you that you're watching this channel, we are decent people. The lawyer try to convince their some lawyers, they convince their clients, especially wives, because wives get away with a lot of stuff usually during the divorce for some reason. Also because of lawyer, they say, no, okay, you can also fight for this more and this more beyond the half, and this more and this more and this more, and so I know that they can have some more money at the end of the day, some more winning, but then every back and forth that you do for the lawyer, she's gonna pay $350 an hour. You're gonna pay $350 an hour, your lawyer. So every letter that you exchange is $500, $700 just for an exchange of letter through 3 times. And then you have a meeting, like a 3 hours meeting. You make the math. It's $2,000 wasted just to say, okay, you want, I keep the TV and you keep the China buffet, and we spend $2,000, we can have bought a new house all along. So I would say stay away from lawyer until things start to hit the fan, and we'll try to avoid that this even happen at the end of the day. So there is this negotiation, litigation, and I told you what it is. So try to communicate decently, but it's in some case, especially if they are mad at you, I don't know, if there is a reason you are divorced, you already don't get along, so it's not easy to make this negation. But really make it fast, because the longer you drag this stuff and you think to be decent, the longer you're gonna suffer, the longer you're gonna spend. So you be fair, you prepare a good agreement, a fair agreement that this should be. I know that it looks good to you, that it won't look good for them, but be intellectually honest. Try to make something that is fair. They will not make things easier. And then, the other reason that the agreement is very important, and that the court can give the rules and criteria how to do it, is what you pay to them, or what you pay to each other, which is alimony, which is a common word to say spousal support. and child support, because if you have children and they're gonna keep the or you're gonna keep the children for most of the time, then you need to compensate. I mean, you need still to feed these children. They pay half of the stuff, you pay the other half. This is a long story. Probably we can talk about the child custody in a different video, because I don't want to be too verbose here. But this is something that is very important, that there are, it's not like lawyers know everything. There are tables. Sometimes you go online, go on a portal, fill up, a kind of Excel sheet, and this is what child support will look. So you key in the numbers, plug the numbers in, and you'll get how much you will pay. That there will be some litigation also, child parenting time, how much time you want as a father, as a mother, for yourself. I want to let you know that I have full custody of my children. They were a young teenager when we divorced, like 11, 12, so barely preteens and teenager when we divorced, and they stayed with me like for 49 weeks a year, so I have full custody, so no outcome is precluded from you, don't worry. So this is, so again, this is the first question: how does our divorce looks like? And it's very simple. See, it's just file and serve, or serve and file, prepare the application and file. They will respond, then you keep the status quo and prepare the agreements. And after this, at a given point when there is nothing to discuss about, you request for a final hearing, you go to the court, and two things can happen. The divorce can be contested, likely, and the judge will take your proposal, their proposal, toss a coin, or do some mixing, and they will prepare a final agreement for you all. Or it's uncontested, because at a given point you did a good job of making a fair divorce, and good job of pushing away requests, demands that are too beyond what you need to do, and it's contested, and the judge will say, okay, you agree with that, this is uncontested, I put a stamp of what you guys bring me. You need to know that if I decided, could be better for you or worse for you, or about the same thing. So you just take this bet and get what you get. So some of this expression, this explanation covers a little bit more of also this, how much, how do you start, I told you, how much money, I'm going to explain. If you go through lawyer, it will be $10,000 easy, but probably more on the 20s if you let them run the show. 10, 15, 20 you, and another 15, 20 them is gonna be $50,000, close to $40,000-$50,000 both, if you go through lawyers. If you go yourself, you can save a lot of, to apply for a divorce, it depends on the state, could be $50 to $250, no more than that usually. You may need help to fill the paper. Without a lawyer, you can hire an agency that can charge you $100 to $200 more to help you filling the paper. There are some online services that you go online, divorceonline.com. There are several. Probably I put the links in the description. You put the credit card information, and they will start with a wizard. The wizard is the quiz that you fill in the quiz, and they will prepare the form that you just print and bring to the court, and will be, filing fee $150. This agency fee $150, you can get away with $300. So how long will it take? So in some states they have a waiting period. You file and then you need to wait 3 or 6 months. Some other states you can be divorced after 30 days, which is not because it's a waiting period, but they give you time for the service, for the other part to respond. So you can set up a hearing after 30 days. The person can respond after 15 days before the hearing, and you can counter respond 7 days before the hearings. Can change by state, but they give some margin to respond to each other. and then you can be divorced. It does happen usually this fast, but let's try to make it last 6-7 months and then you are divorced. I know states and people that have been during the divorce proceeding for 3 years because also COVID didn't help in the past years, but also I know somebody that was divorced after 10 years. Can you understand why this happened? I understand that he will understand that he was too flip-flopping. Okay, let's make it easier. I'll help you, don't help you. I this. So you don't need to, when you negotiate, actually you don't need to negotiate. You need to be fair in the first place and be in an unnegotiable situation where don't flip-flop. There you don't get intimidated by, okay, I'll take the children away from you. I will accuse that you're a hole. You know. You don't get intimidated. You know, you need to be a principal. You need to know, why some divorce don't work. Not the work, they are expensive. Because people that go into divorce are in such a stress that they really don't have confidence. So whatever the other lawyers or your lawyers say, we buy it because we are such a stress. We are such a lack of self-confidence. That is the reason why we end up not defending ourselves during the divorce and after. Sometimes before the divorce, before doing this step, you need to work on yourself and do some coaching with me. Or if you don't like me, you hate my guy, probably a therapist. But a therapist also will make you work, will take longer to get to the solution. If we work together, in a few weeks, we will figure out, okay, how to be yourself, confident in yourself, so that all this stuff will be, you will be impervious to intimidation, to negotiation, to accusation, to the fear of lawyers. So that most important of everything of doing the right paperwork is to be in a good place of soul and mind, that you don't get scared of dealing with this at all, and you don't get scared of being lonely after divorce, during the divorce. You don't feel ashamed of this. So this is why sometimes before even starting, coaching is really a good idea. How much will you pay to the other party? Depends on the alimony. Alimony is something that it's hateful concept to me, because it's something that is good. If we had somebody that help in the house and make some sacrifice because of careers and to make you career, they need to have some compensation. But the true laws, how the alimony is set up in most state, some state even worse than others, it's very hateful because it opens the door to gold diggers, to lady wives or lady husbands, and so usually the person that is the breadwinner loses. But if you have been married for a few years, probably you don't pay alimony at all. If you make about the same money, you don't pay alimony. You don't need to worry about alimony. Or probably, if you've been married for 10 years, or 8 years, and 10 years, depends on the states again, 20 years, then alimony could be something that you will be hooked on for many years. Typically, most state is that you don't pay more years of alimony of the years that you've been divorced. That's a reason to divorce sooner rather than later. The other point is that divorce alimony, average they grant about half of the years. So if you've been married for 15 years, probably if the judge decides, say, okay, let's do 7-8 years of alimony, and alimony will be based on the difference between your income and her income. So this is, listening, is not what she makes. So if she's a stay-home mom or he is a stay-home dad, house worker, is not what they make, what they can make. So if they are graduated and they can apply for a job and start from a $50,000, the judge say, okay, she's not making that, but she can make, in 6 months, she can make $50,000 a year. So you make, say, $100,000, and the alimony will be based on the difference. So will be about 1/3, 1/2 of the difference of 50. So you will gonna end up paying $15,000 $1,000 a year, 20 depends on the situation, how many children you have, if you have children, even from other relationships. So there will be a blend of that, but the baseline is the difference of what you make or can make and she can make. It's called imputed income, not the actual income. So you say, oh, I just make, I don't know, minimum pay, and I also work part-time. No, you need to impute full-time for what you can do based on your education and skills that you may have or may not have demonstrated, but are demonstrable. Okay. And child support is something that also you need to pay. You know, child support, it's easier, but it's also delicate because it involves parenting time, and probably will make a new video. So make sure that you subscribe so you'll get notified when these videos pop up in your feed, and they will pop up in your feed. So will you see the children? And you must children. So the judge should make a consideration that you need to see the children at least half of the time. We can argue if the children need to stay with you half of the time, to the point that you balance the parenting time, the child support too. That's a little bit more contested. But I need to tell you that I have some experience with some clients, some state. New Jersey, I mean, this is lovely. Really, you can know in advance what is going to happen. Some state judge favor mothers a lot with child parenting time, and really, you never know. I mean, you look at the law and you think everything should be fair, but then the judge, I don't know what they decide. They really made some decision that it's hard to overcome. So one important thing is that don't get too pissed if you can only see the children 25% of the time. It is what it is. Things will change. The children will understand that you're a good person. They will growing up, will want to meet you because they know that you're loving, you're playful, you help them, they rely on you. And try not to shy away from your children anyway. Don't make complicated, because if you yell in front of your spouse to say, no, you need to make me see the children, that could backlash, because that will be harassment. Even if you're right, it could be a harassment. So everything that you need to point out that is going differently of what the agreement are put gently in writing, politely, and if they don't listen, then you involve the court politely again, without threatening or being intimidated. So, but I mean, you need to see the children. It's complicated, so probably we need to talk one-on-one to understand what you can expect based on your state, based on your situation in your family and the age of your children. So what you might say goodbye to. Some people don't divorce because they do, but I had this house for 20 years. I built the house. Some people, actually, they literally built the house. And some other people, we lived in this house. I don't want to take the children out of the house. You need to understand, you need to be ready to give up the house. Probably you're gonna keep it at the end. You can afford it, or they will you can convince them. They will see that they cannot afford to buy you up. But sometimes even if you can afford the house you're in, and is something that you want to give a continuity to your children, to yourself, you have some memories that probably you can consider to move away from the house to start a new page of your life and your children's life. So don't get too attached to the house or other stuff that are really important to you. I don't know. I had a painting that I wanted desperately. You can live with that. I'm much more happier now. After my divorce, I'm much more happier now. So stuff material stuff material stuff comes and goes. So you're gonna survive. It's important what it doesn't come, your time. So try to make it quick, and your ability to make money. So don't stress yourself to the point that you really cannot function because you're stressed, you're depressed, and you are schizophrenic after. You have a psychosis about your marriage. You need to be happy right before you start, during the marriage, because you need to cope with some hits on your craft, and you need to be happy after. So you need to prepare this. It's not that you lose everything and then you'll be happy. You can be happy if you lose everything in a marriage, but you need to really work towards what you need. So I hope this is a few of the many questions that you may ask, and leave in the comment if you have more questions, if we just something that we just cover very quickly and you want to elaborate on it. Leave comments on YouTube, on whatever platform you're watching this, and also let me see what do you think of what you said. I'm right? You think differently? You think no, you need to work with lawyer? No, the children, you never had the children. You need to fight the children. You need to waste everything. Sorry, this is not this is a little bit leading expression. You need to invest everything to have the children. I have mixed feel about that, and we can discuss about it. Let's open a debate about that in the comments. Or, you can also post a video, tag me, so I will get notified that I have this video, and we can also jump in a live stream or something and talk together, or just I will comment with a response video or reaction video to you. So I hope this helps. And again, if you are not at the situation that you're still divorcing, check out, stay tuned for the other videos about, which should be a link somewhere here or in the description, about the reason why you should divorce and the reason why you shouldn't divorce. That could be different for different people. Okay.